to be or to have a democracy. But in Nigeria, no, it's mostly, during the elections, you can hear them say all horrible things about themselves. But immediately after that, everybody will just line up to take their own share from the spoil of war. And those of you who won't, you probably have to go and find something else to do. So that is why Obi is trying to be that opposition. Unfortunately, it is not going to work. You know, you don't do individual opposition in a rigged system like that of Nigeria. It is a rigged system. So it's either you are so deluded or you are living in your own, echo chamber. That's what I see about Obi. They are talking about opposition coming together, but the people that are supposed to champion that are, one, the political party who controls some states that are not APC, Egbe. They are supposed to be loyal to their party. For example, PDP. Your PDP governors are not loyal to PDP. PDP is just, it's like a political party in name. Those in charge of the PDP themselves are most like 60 to 70% of them. They are in the ass of THIEFNUBU. So how do you build a coalition? Labour Party is already scattered. Yeah, you have the Apampas, Lami Diot Apampas, Arabambi Diot. What's that other one's name? The one that is now your chairman. It is all kind of like compromised. So what opposition is Peter Obi building? Is it the opposition is going to build with a faction of PDP, a faction of SDP, and maybe a faction of Labour? I don't understand. So that's why I said it's more or less like a delusion. He's a lone ranger. In my own opinion, he's a lone ranger who has no real base structurally, other than counting on the already bastardized, brutalized, captured Nigerians. Majority of them who do not really have a lasting courage. They are more reactionary. Nigerians are more reactionary. So where is he building that from? Then he had this to say, by the way. He said, opposition is very difficult in that contraption right now, because if you are seeing that there are some of his supposed friends who no longer greet him, if he meets them at the airport and says hello, they don't want to answer because they do not want to be seen with him, which is true, right? So whatever it is that is kind of trying to make himself be like, I don't get it. But listen to this one. How he answered the question about opposition.
Don't you think it will affect the democracy in Nigeria?
Well, I want us to sit down one of these days and talk about the opposition and how the opposition will be effective. A democracy is faulty. It wasn't designed to support the opposition. Oppositions here are actually in difficulty. If I tell you what I face, what I go through, what my family go through, you wouldn't even believe I will still be standing and going around this country. But I've made up my mind that if this is the end, so be it. Because we can't allow the country. It is difficult to be in opposition in this country. Extremely difficult. Because everything is against you. People don't even want to see you. They don't even want to talk to you. I see colleagues that greet them at the airport, they don't even want to reply because they feel they don't want the government of the day to see you or see them greeting you. Your businesses, everything you're involved is being dismantled. That is not a country. We need to show more commitment to the future of our country. None of us is going to live here forever. So we must build a better society for our children. And to build it, some of us will take a risk. That is the part of what Dele and Co. also going through. And not just him, every person, even the oppositions, the local government level, at state level, everywhere, are going through that. So for me, we are actually doing a lot if we're doing everything on our own.
All right, lastly, for me, Your Excellency, just two things. We've seen you and the former Vice President Buhari going around having a series of meetings. People are optimistic that maybe something in form of a merger or so will come out of this. And then, lastly, President Tinubu insists that his tax reforms must go on, and tax reform bills are here to stay in his last presidential media chat. Despite that, governors are saying that look, there should be more consultation and other leaders of the country, while former Senate President is saying that look, there's serious hunger. Ndume is saying that look, some traditional rulers should not just take the content of the tax reform bills just by the face value. What will you advise on this?
Well, on issue of tax, there's a lot of stories. I've said it, everybody knows my stand on it. There should be very wide and detailed consultation. It should be widely and publicly debated. Government have consistently maintained that our tax to GDP, tax to this is very low. You've seen it every day. And I said it's wrong. Tax is a function of productivity. The country is unproductive. So are you going to tax 100 million Nigerians that are living in extreme poverty? Are you going to tax those people I saw in IDP camps yesterday? Are you going to tax the factories that are shut down in Kanu? Go to Bompai, go to Shadan 1, Shadan 2. Where are you going to tax? Tax is a function of productivity. When the country is productive, people are gainfully employed, then you can tax them. And we can generate more tax. What we need now is to reflect the country, make it productive, and then we can talk about generating more revenue. Thank you.
That's too much for an average Ronuku. They don't understand the fact that the more people are working, the more money government will make. You know, the more people are working, the more businesses are opened, operational. That is when government will make more money. But when you have more than 80% of your younger generation unemployed, or many of them underemployed, whose take-home pay can't even take them home, where minimum wage can't buy you a bag of rice. That's some F-up system. But THIEFNUBU doesn't see it that way. He's a rent collector. He's a rent seeker and a rent collector. To them, those who are still alive, then let's kind of take whatever we can take from them. You know, businesses who are supposed to be the private sector that are supposed to be the creator of jobs, they are folding up every now and then. So where is the tax going to come from? Or the campaign is that the poor people won't be taxed. So now the rich people will pay tax. You know, if you're not earning up to 800,000 naira, don't worry about taxes. And they said that more than 80% Nigerians don't even have up to 500,000 naira in their bank accounts, if they do have any bank account at all. That is the system they want to tax for whatever it is called. Again, here is Baraje talking about THIEFNUBU and the supposed policy. Talking about that means you do not have to keep saying your policy is working. People will have to feel it. You don't force it and ram it down their throats. People will feel it. Okay? Using that Moka guy said something about the refineries are working. But which level now? Warri Refinery, Port Harcourt refineries, these two refineries that they claimed are working, they are boldly telling us now that the two refineries are not producing petrol. What kind of a thing is this? Are you aware of that? Yeah, you. don't look as a you. I'm talking to you, Ronuku, especially you. Are you aware that the Port Harcourt refinery is supposed to be working? They are proudly telling us that the two call they can only produce diesel and kerosene. What happened to the PMS? What happened to that? They said that they are doing something called blending, using a mofta or something like all this strange, hazardous nonsense, right? To mix them and blend them together to give you this dirty PMS. So the refinery is not refining the crude oil to produce PMS. They say, but Dangote is doing that one, so Dangote is filling the gap. I say, then how can you then, what exactly then are you producing? The reason why things have gone south right now in that contraption was because Tifnubu removed subsidy, right? Now, removing subsidy simply triggered this economic crisis in the first place. But they said it was important. Then NNPCL continued importing fuel into Nigeria, then denying it. Obasanjo was right, you see. We are going to keep this here for as long as they run the lies. But repeating the lies again and again will not make it a truth, though. It's just going to be a matter of time, as you must know. So people have to feel it. If your refinery is now working, that means you are no longer importing fuel. At least, that's what that should mean. But that is not true. Wale Tinubu of Wando, with this other guy, I can't remember his name, something Energy. I can't remember that's his name again. The one that just celebrated his 50th birthday just about last month, right? These are the highest importer of petroleum products from Malta. They're still importing from Malta. Refinery in Port Harcourt can produce PMS, but they are importing the PMS from Malta, blended PMS from Malta. Warri Refinery can produce PMS. What the heck is the refinery is working theory and nonsense about anyway? They are doing promo. Dangote Refinery is selling PMS at a 9 through the MRS filling stations, right? So Dangote Refinery is selling PMS for 985 naira or thereabout. NNPCL with their own imported naphtha, what's it called? Their blended Malta PMS. They are selling it for 935 naira per liter, according to them. So that's the promo for last month. This whole thing is crazy, man. But here is Baraje.
This day has every right to declare whoever it wants as Man of the Year. And I don't quite know what criteria and what methods, they followed to arrive at that conclusion. But for all I know, and for all many Nigerians who remember President Tinubu, is the suffering that has been associated with his presidency since he arrived. Yes, I used to know him to be a man of ideas with books around, and we used to engage because, if you remember, I was the National Secretary of AC, which later became ACN, while I was still the National Secretary. So I had occasion to interact very closely and fairly consistently for a long period of time. But I find all that has evaporated. I don't see the ideas. I don't see the dynamism. I don't see that progressiveness. I see somebody who is almost turning into a monarch. In the last media chat, if I got it right, he did talk about the tax bill being sacrosanct. How can it be sacrosanct? This is a bill in front of the National Assembly. Even at that, not properly presented to the National Assembly, because when the Senate presented it, it was not on the order paper. And you can't discuss by parliamentary rules and procedures, any matter which is not already in the order paper. So this idea to smuggle things and this idea of coming through the back door creates a lot of suspicion. And you see, I can go on, but let me make, 3 points, if you please. And this is not just about the present Tinubu. It covers almost all our political, if you like, leaders, or if you like, the leadership that this democracy has produced in the last 25 is characterized by three things. And whatever man of the year you become and whatever thing you want to do, unless you capture these things or you address these issues, is very difficult for anybody, no matter how well intentioned. To one, the fact that we don't have an appreciation of the future. When government spokesmen speak and when ministers address us on issues around their own mandate, their ministries, they don't seem to have the figures. They don't seem to have the idea of the previous efforts, and there is no vision. We can't see. Let me just use one or two things to illustrate that, if you please. One, 2023, the grains deficit, just grains, that's food that Nigerians eat. The deficit, that's the difference between consumption and actual production, was about 30 million metric tons. Since then, we have had floods in Maiduguri, floods in Jigawa, floods in Taraba, floods in Zamfara, floods in so many other places. Insecurity has escalated. So that must have affected us. So what is our grain deficit, this year? And what are the measures to address this grain deficit? If you can't have food, you can't have peace. And you cannot talk about reforms, you cannot talk about taxation. So I don't see a conversation this day.
He's right. I think I've raised that similar point on this platform before, where I said, when you listen to these guys, you have a finance minister that is just pulling figures from the thin air. You just drop figure, like blatantly. Unverified or unverifiable figures, just to, somebody like me I can call figures if I don't have the accurate numbers. But if you are in government, when you want to say something, if you are a president of a country, if you are a representative of any government of any country, your portfolio should let you know that data actually really matter. That is what will make you sound intelligent and not sound like the foolish people you have in charge of that contraption there. They always pull figures from the thin air, But when you now try to juxtapose whatever they have said with the reality, they are like a so far contrast to reality. But they do so with straight face. We have given 25,000 naira to 25 million households. That's 625 billion naira. How did you do it? Yeah, we asked them to register and we send the money to them in their bank account. But there's no proof. There's no proof that you paid anybody 625 billion naira, that you paid 25 million people 25,000 naira each. There's no record of that. You are supposed to actually be specific, Abi. There's no bank that has come out and said, this bank, Zenith Bank, they helped us paid 5 million people. GT Bank, they helped us paid 7 million people. You know what I mean? There's nothing like that. Just pull the figure out. We are going to fix all the federal roads before the 25th of December, before Christmas Day. What are you talking about? How many of those roads are currently undergoing that fixing right now? Just pull the number out. We are going to make sure that we are going to have bumper harvests next year in order to cut down food inflation, right? You say, okay, bumper harvest means you have invested in agriculture, Abi. Give us the numbers. Where are the farms? How many hectares of land have you cultivated? What have you cultivated? What do you plant that you intend to harvest next year? All these figures, they don't matter to these guys. They just pull them out and say it. They just say things and they want you. Yeah, they want you to go and deal with the rest. So when you now kind of look back and say, but you told us that so will be fixed 6 months ago, but we haven't seen anything. They say, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. We are working. We are working day and night. We are bringing experts. You should be able to say, oh, yeah, the unemployment problem in Nigeria, Minister of Labor, come and tell us what is the stats or the statistics of the real employment you have created. How many businesses have you registered in? How many businesses opened in the last 2 quarters of last year between June and December 2024? How many businesses and how many jobs have they, did they create? And where are those jobs created? In what and what sectors are those jobs created? Data matters a lot, right? But criminal politicians in Nigeria, no. They'll just tell you that, we have created jobs. Nigeria is now having the easy way of doing business. We are now, and they want you to go ahead and just believe that. So somebody said, we have number problem. And they are right. You all remember when we used to, when I was growing up, there's this thing they say, somebody is so rich. Somebody is so rich that his money is uncountable. What do you mean something is uncountable? How many of you remember the Africa Wahala when you were younger? You say, it's uncountable. What is uncountable? What is uncountable? There's nothing that is uncountable. If you see the cars that came to that place is uncountable. It's our own way of saying there are so many. It's uncountable. Uncountable. There's nothing uncountable. But we have a number problem in that contraption that people can just pull number from the thing here. If you try to ask them to prove it, then it will become a problem. It will become a problem and it will be like, you don't understand, it's uncountable. They say, there's nothing uncountable, bro. Nothing is uncountable.
It is easy to say that Nigeria economy grew by 4.6%. Is that really correct? In economics, is that really correct? Can you compare Nigeria with Osun State? Or can you compare Nigeria with Sokoto State? That is not be correct. You compare Nigeria with Ghana, you compare Nigeria with United Arab Emirates, and you compare Nigeria with Argentina. So when you are comparing, which currency do you use? You use the dollar. Now, when you look at our GDP 2 years ago, it was $500 billion. What is it? $1 billion. What is it today? 199. We are now $199 billion. Are we better off or worse off? We are living in our worst days. Pre-Jonathan regime, before we rebase the economy. Yeah. Before rebasing the economy, we're larger than this. So everybody, per capita income in Nigeria now is nearly above $1,000. What used to be $3,000? So are we better off or worse off? How can subsidy removal and reflotation be better? The question you should ask is, what should we have done differently? And there are options which were made available, written and in discussion to authority. But the cheapest way is for government revenue to boost, hoping President Tinubu hoped that governors will invest in the economy. Was that done? Was that done? But for a few states that actually reinvested this back into the economy, it's important for people to know the truth. After all, your station is about as it is. Yes. We need to say the truth.
Yes, as it is.
This economy is not as strong as it should be. This economy used to be the largest in the whole Africa. Today, the last time I spoke with your correspondent, we were number 4. Today, we are now number 5. I checked, the largest economy in Southern America is Brazil. It's also the largest country in population. The largest in North America is the United States. It's also the largest population with largest economy. Then you now go to Europe and see in Eastern Europe, you see Russia as the largest economy and also the largest population. And go to Western Europe, where you meet Germany, the largest population, largest economy. When you come to Africa, oh my dear black Africa, Nigeria is the largest population. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third, it's not the fourth, now the fifth. So how can those two policies be good? It is more than obvious that they were made out of error, they were made in mistakes, and some of us had provided alternative solution to the government. Whether we will take it or not is another kettle of fish. But we cannot say because we have a deal, look for cutlass and beard ourselves, hoping that all will be well. It's like cutting our nose to spite our face. But well, the result is obvious in the public domain. People that are watching us and are listening to us, they are themselves. Are they better off today than they were 2 years ago? They should ask themselves. When we say that at the end of the tunnel, there will be light, the father of modern economics, macroeconomics for that matter, John Maynard Keynes, he said, and I quote, he said, in the long run, we are all dead. Ask anybody. We will go through pain. When will the pain end? Can they tell you it's going to be 1 year? It's going to be 5 years? Funnily enough, World Bank seems to provide this answer. Is that what you wait for 10 to 15 years?
15 years.
Can you continue like this for 10 to 15 years? And I asked in 2016, when I was interviewed by journalists, when Christine Lagarde told Nigeria that, don't worry, this economy will not go into a recession. I said, this economy will certainly go into a recession. I'm in Nigeria. I'm an economist in Nigeria. And I know for sure that this economy will go into a recession. Did you know that as against advice Christine Lagarde gave to President Buhari, Nigeria economy went to a recession? Was I happy? No. But is that